Ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the finest national commanders I have seen in a long time. I present to you our national commander, Jimmy Foster.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say what an honor and privilege it is to be here at Post 145 in Douglasville, Georgia. I've been around the state here a couple days and having a great time. You know, traveled here with these guys, and I've determined that if you want to get anything done in the state of Georgia, the name has to be Charlie. So, NEC, the alternate, the commander, and the adjutant's all named Charlie. So what's up with that? Huh?
Charlie Company.
But none of them goes by Chuck, so I was amazed at that. You know, as Commander Turner can attest to, he was a commander quite a few years ago. I'm trying to figure out what year you were. 90, right, yeah. And we were in Haines, as I told you. It was one of the hottest temperatures on record. It was like 100 degrees in Haines, which was totally unheard of. And we had the installation outside on the deck, and I was not lying. 47 Eagles circling 6 cruise ships moored in Lynn Canal. It was really beautiful. Had a great scene and a great time. And so whenever you get to this point, it's not easy. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, effort. It takes a lot of bucks, You know, and then as I told you in my travels, when I finally got in line there in succession from the team, and people say the team, who's this mythical team? So I said, well, there's a coalition of people, and I don't call them the team, I affectionately call them the God Squad. So somebody goes, well, why would you call them the God Squad? I said, because if they don't give you the blessing and endorsement, you're never going to be the national commander. So maybe they are the God Squad, you know what I mean? But that's good. So then they put you through all the little drills and stuff. They give you positions that give you platform time. You learn about the American Legion, the infrastructure and how it works, about the program, so when you're on the road, you can answer the questions of those that's given to you, and if not, they give you the cell phone numbers of the 14 commission chairmen, and so we'll get you the answer. Might not get it immediately, but we'll have it within the next day or so. So then they bring you in, they grill you, and they say, well, now that you're almost to the helm, what are you going to talk about? What are you going to do when you're out on the road? Don't embarrass us. Well, I said, I'm not going to embarrass you. What are you going to do? I said, well, how soon do I have to give you the answer? They said a half hour would be fine. So being a member of the Judge Advocate General Corps and all that stuff, and actually having a math degree, so numbers and research was no big deal. So I ventured over to the library there in the national headquarters, talked to Joe Hoey's then, and I said, I want to see what all the other national commanders talked about and what they did. About 2 seconds, he had it up, had a book there, researched that, went and knocked on the door, and I said, well, I'm ready. I said, I'll talk about the 4 pillars. So I had to tell them what it was about. So I did that. They said, fine, you have our blessing. See you later. Represent us well. So the 4 pillars been around for 92 years, Mayor and City Councilman. 92 years. And they start out being that we must have a strong national defense to take care of our country. You know, ladies and gentlemen, personally, there is 133 countries today that our service members serve in. Half of those countries I cannot pronounce, and the other half I can't spell. But you know, in our society, whether you believe or you agree with where people in Washington send all those troops, I call them service members, so I don't forget a branch of service, and then somebody gets me out when I get off of here, so you didn't talk about my branch. Yes, I did. They're all the service members. Whether you agree with it or not, you need to agree with this. Those 2 United States senators that you send there to Washington, and all your representatives, there's men and women, that whatever they do, wherever they send them, they need to approve the funds to let those guys and gals accomplish the mission in those 133 foreign countries, accomplish the mission and get them home in one piece. You must agree with that. Then after they deployed or wherever they went, or you know whatever country they were in, or if they were on backfill, that's the word they use in the military. Backfill, somebody had to stay in the rear, and somebody had to train other people to do stuff, and that's the way it works in the military. Well, if they had the misfortune and acquired a service-connected injury or disease or illness, that when they get out of the military or they deactivate from the Guard or Reserve, and they come back to hometown USA. That's what I'll call Douglasville tonight, hometown USA. They come back here, they go to the VA for whatever. They don't, when they fill out the 21-526, I know all those forms. I'm a Department Service Officer, so I know all about that stuff. When they fill out them forms, when they go to the VA for their care, that they're taken care of, they don't need a lot of red tape and bureaucratic stuff, and the country owes them the obligation to take care of them for that injury, illness, disease until they die, or this country goes broke, whichever comes first. And I'm not real sure which one of them's going to happen first. You know, we're not in the greatest little state right now. And third, that we continue to promote Americanism in hometown USA. And I can tell that you do it well here in Douglasville. You know, we do all kinds of stuff. We do get out to vote. We do flag retirement ceremonies. We do flag etiquette. You saw the young people here serving. That's very commendable. Those are the good kids. They're out here on Friday night, could be doing something else somewhere else, but they're here serving. Let's give them a big hand. And then we celebrate the holidays. You know, it should be more than a Monday off. You know, you should look at it in a different perspective than a day off from work. You know, we have Memorial Day. We have the 4th of July. We have Labor Day. We have Veterans Day. And you'd be surprised as I crisscross the country and over in the world, across the sea, where most of the veterans don't even celebrate our day. Shame on you. Shame on you for that. That's why we have our country, because of Veterans Day. And it's one of those holidays where it's celebrated on that day because it means that much to the people that voted it that way. I suggest to you on November 11th, roll out of bed, come down here at the post, go to the cemetery, go to the parade, do something. But when you do that, tell people about it. Tell them what you do. You know, veterans are a weird breed. Yes, we are. We get in our own little world. We did our time. We don't want to talk about it. You don't even tell your kids. You don't tell your grandkids or nothing else. I say break out of that shell, break out of that mold, and put all your stuff and your thoughts down so in later time that your story can be told for what you really did for your country. And the last thing, but certainly not the least, is that we have children and youth programs where the kids of today have it better than we did. And you showed that here tonight with all the stuff you have. Boys and Girl Scouts, Boys and Boys State, oratorical contests, junior shooting sports. You have the Sons of the American Legion, which is our program to start with. There's other stuff out there. And you auxiliary members, you can help me out here. Those young auxiliary members that are here that are under the age of 18, make sure you mentor and groom them so that when they turn 18 and become a senior member in the American Legion Auxiliary, they know exactly what's going on and what's expected to them. So make sure you do that for me. We do a great job in hometown USA doing the 4 pillars. You know, as you heard earlier, I'm a personal touch guy. I like to shake your hand, have a little conversation with you. We're not always going to agree. That's the way it is in America. We agree to disagree, and that's fine. But if I'm having a conversation with you and after 10 minutes, you're far left, I'm our far right, or I'm far right and you're far left, if you ever hear me say, excuse me, I go to the bathroom, I got to get away from you. Are you with me? Nothing against you, but I am going to get away from you. That's okay. That's one of my signals. So I've only had it happen to me twice. And it wasn't here in Georgia, okay? So you're doing pretty good so far. All right. I like personal touch. You know, technology is the way of the future. Those guys and gals that are in the military, 17, 18, 19 years old, all they know is the internet, right? That's where they're going to get their information. If this post is not wired for Wi-Fi, I suggest you spend the best $19.95 a month you can do, get it wired for Wi-Fi. Might not appeal to some of you here, that's fine. But it will appeal to 17, 18, 19-year-old girl or guy coming back from deployment, coming back to hometown USA. They might come in here, set up their computers, do a little interface. I know there's people out here in the audience afraid of the computer. That's okay, it's between you and the Lord, all right? Now, but if you want to learn how to use a computer, I suggest you go next door, find somebody 6-year-old, they'll give you a quick class on how to use a computer. Now they might have to give you 2 lessons, because they'll be on step 18 and you'll still be trying to figure out how to move the mouse, okay? Are you with me? Well, make sure you do that. Technology is only going to get worse before it gets better. You know, there's a program as I crisscross America that half the Legionnaires or the Legion family never heard of. It's called Operation Reconnect. It's where you take one day, you sign up for a trip or a tour, You go to the nearest military installation, whatever branch, all 5 of them, or a Guard or Reserve unit, and you go out and see what the guys and gals are doing in the military today in 2011. I'm sure that when you go and spend the day, that you'll be impressed, you'll be there for the technology and the innovation that is out there today in the military. Now they may do some of the stuff as you did in your MOS, your AFSC. You know, they might do some of the steps and techniques, but I'm sure it's mastered and technology's there. So take one busy day out of your year, sign up for Operation Reconnect, go out and see what they're doing. You know, never before have the National Guard and Reserve been activated like they are today. Never before. National Commander flew an Army E-7 to Milwaukee at the convention. He's in the Army Reserve, folks. He's been activated 11 times. And the shortest tour was a year and a day. That guy ain't on the reserves, he's on active duty. Are you with me? But so whenever those guys and gals come back, they come back to hometown USA. They don't go PCS, permanent change of station, to another duty station. When they demobilize, they come back home. So you need to make sure that you welcome them into your post and treat them as a veteran. It's a time for us, the Vietnam vets. You know how you feel when you return. Make sure that you don't treat them the way you were. Reciprocate in a good manner. You know, 1/5 of the armed forces, 1/5, 1 in 5 is a female service member. 1/5. Thank you. So as I look around the audience, out here in the audience, I should see female service members with some kind of cap. Whether it's basically blue and white for district, white for department, red for national. There's 2 ladies that sit on the board of directors, the National Executive Committee from their departments, and do a superb job as an advisor to their department or whatever commission they're assigned to. So make sure you look around, include the females, find out what they want to do, give them a job, put them to work, move them up. 29% of the armed forces, almost 1/3 is a minority of some kind. Females are rolled up in there. But you know, folks, you shouldn't discriminate. If somebody comes into your post, they have the documentation and want to be a member of us, that's fine. You shouldn't discriminate against race, sex, color, or creed. If they meet the qualifications, they stood beside us, arm to arm, shoulder to shoulder, hand to hand, make sure you sign them up, and we get all veterans into our organization. You know, grassroots is where it starts. It starts right here at home, hometown USA, Douglasville. You know, a lot of the politicians, they didn't keep their word. They lost sight of what's going on. They lost their job in 2010. Personal opinion, some of them's going to lose it in 2012. Are you with me? What they need to do is listen to what the constituents want, that put them in there. And you know what? Disregarding you, Mayor and City Councilman, politicians are the world's best tap dancer, right? Everybody know what a tap dancer is? You know, if they would just answer the question and get it over with, it'd be better off, right? You know, make them commit to you. They don't have to agree with you, but at least get an answer. Don't walk away from them until you say, hey, senator or representative or whatever they want to be, how do you stand on this position? Get a commitment from them. You know, the flag amendment's coming back. It's already been introduced in the House by Joanne Emerson of Missouri. Senator Hatch is going to introduce it between the 10th and 18th of March. I know that. I already talked to him. I'm flying into Washington, D.C. He's going to do a joint press conference. It's coming back. You know, I was told in our visit there, when we were there about 3 weeks ago, by a very prominent senior senator, that he thinks that it's going to pass because America is tired of it, and if they want to seek their position and stay in that job, they better vote to what the people told them to do within the office. So I hope he's right. You know, you heard about the Legion Riders. They do a great job. You know, and Pat talked about started in Michigan. You know, there's already an argument. Somebody said it started in Michigan. Somebody told me it started in Prunedale, California. So nobody really knows where it started or when it started. So that's the issue at hand. And I think the issue there is there's 3 past national commanders that want to take credit for that. And I tell them, man, just get over it, right? You know what I mean? Huh? It's a great program. Wasn't you? Good. Right. I know who the 3 are, trust me. Yeah, I know who they are. But that's okay. They do a great job. They do a poker run, fun run, money run, whatever you want to call it. And specifically, they do and raise funds for the American Legion Legacy Scholarship Fund. Some of you may have never heard of it. What they do is they form up on the west side of Indianapolis at Wayne Post 64, which is our national headquarters. and they ride their motorcycles to the host city of the national convention. Well, this has went on for 5 years, 5 short years. And out of that, one of those trips was 7 days, one was 10. The other 2, 3, or 8 or 9. So I want to see how you do in Douglasville. Loganville did pretty good. Let's see how they did in Douglasville. 7 times 5 is what? Cool. 10 times 5. You guys get an A in math tonight. Thank you very much. So between 35 and 50 days in length, American Legion riders from Wayne Post 64 in Indianapolis to the host city of that national convention for that year, they have raised money in hand, not an IOU, not I'll get back with you, or I'll get it to you. The money's in the account in Indianapolis in the trust fund for the American Legion Legacy Scholarship Fund, 5 short years, $2.9 million. You know, I'm going to tell you folks, I've heard the riders call some bad things in my travels. Some of them I don't even want to repeat. I'm serious, they were terrible. I can't believe that some veteran would tell me that. So I'll tell you the best of the worst. One old codger told me in the department, "Commander, them guys and gals are no more than another renegade biker group. We don't need them, we don't want them." And I said, "Sir, I beg to differ with you. That was the first time I went to the bathroom." I had to get away from that. All right? That's where I get to that point. You know, but the American Legion Legacy Scholarship Fund is for the education of a child whose one or whatever parents were on active duty and they lost their life on the global war on terror since September 11, 2001, which we commonly know as Patriot Day. And they are right now currently dispensing funds to some of those. One individual lost both arms. Terrible. You know, I'm not a rocket science, I'm not a Rhodes Scholar. I don't know what the next great idea is going to be. And whenever that 3 years period was, and whoever the commander was, came up with American Legion riders, it could have came right here in Douglasville, Georgia, right here at Post 145. So I ask that you have communication and dialogue. Don't shortchange somebody. Don't have a preconceived notion. Make sure you hear them out, and they might change your idea. So I want you to work together. And you know I was going to talk about membership, right? You knew that, right? Yeah. It's required. All national commanders and all national vice commanders got to talk about the most dreaded word in the membership, in the dictionary, which is membership. You know, we do a great job of getting new members. You know, it's kind of like that movie Field of Dreams, if you believe they'll come. If they're a new member, they'll come. I got the Mayor Mickey right in the post there, night before last. I said, well, why did the national commander have to ask this guy, if he knew he was a veteran, if he was a member of the American Legion? He joined. They paid his first year's dues, which was very commendable. All you got to do is ask. They'll join. Nobody's ever denied me of joining the American Legion if I've asked them. Our problem is retention. That's the problem. Once we get them, we can't keep them. Let me give you a little scenario. You got a couple guys or gals that come back from Iraq or Afghanistan or one of those 133 countries we're in. You know, they might have remembered American Legion baseball or Boys or Girls State. Might even done something else. Or they might have a strong-armed dad or strong-armed grandpa. And that's okay. That's okay. That's for the better. And they came to a meeting, you know, and they sat here, this table. There's about 4 tables around them. And all those people at them other tables had 40 years or plus in the American Legion. Not one of them people from those tables went over there and talked to those young people, shook their hand and said, welcome, thank you for your service. We wanted to see what you had on your mind and what you want to do. Now, if you're lucky, they might come back twice for more abuse. But most of them is going to be gone the first time. So I ask you to communicate with those people. Remember, treat them the way you wished you were. And you might have potentially, if you didn't do that, you might have ran somebody out of that meeting 7, 8, 9, 10 years down the road and had the potential to be the national commander of the American Legion. So I ask that you don't do that. So make sure you communicate with people. You know, I have a program, it's called the Lucky 7 Award, and I saw some of the medals out here, and I thank you for that. It's very easy to get. You got to sign up 7 members, 2 new, 5 renewal. Piece of cake. Anybody in the auxiliary and the sons can qualify also. 2 new, 5 renewal. Get your little gold Liberty Bell pen, got a Lucky 7, got my name and the year of office. It's a sharp looking pen, I know because I created it, so I know it's sharp looking. All right? Well, make sure you do that. We have a limited stock in national. but I want you to force me to buy more because my math's kicking in here. If I'm exhausting my stock, I know I'm giving 7 members a throw, so I'll take the members over the money for the pins. So make sure you do that. If you qualify, get with your post commander, post agent, get the form, move it up, and they'll send you the pin. You know, I have a motto, slogan, or theme, or whatever that word is. It's one word, pretty simple. The word SAVED, S-A-V-E-D, with a period after each word. But it's a pretty strong message. It means serving America's veterans every day. Thank you. And I don't care how you serve America's veterans every day, just do it. Thank you for your service or work. Or, hey Bob, can I run you to the VA and get your prescriptions filled? Auxiliary members, you can help me out here again. Can you knit me up a lac blanket for a veteran that's going to the hospital for a major operation? There's all ways of serving America's veterans every day, and I hope that you do that in your own way. You know, I look at the American Legion a lot like I look at life. Maybe I'm a weirdo. I can handle that title, that's fine. But you know, you got to stay positive. You got to stay focused. Life is troubling enough as it is. Don't be negative. Negativity gets you nothing but more negative results, which is ultimately zero. So be focused, stay positive. And you're not always going to win. You're going to lose sometime. You know, you come to a meeting, there's 10 people, there's an issue on the floor. It's either going to pass 6-4, it's going to be 5-5 a tie, or you're going to lose 4-6. No way around it. Simple mathematics prevail. So if you're on the losing side, don't get mad, don't go hastily out the door. Circle your wagons, that's the Okie in me here. Circle the wagons, get your little ducks in order, the Cowboys and Indians. Next meeting it might pass. You know, I haven't always won. I lost. Run for my first post office and lost to the town drunk. Square business. 30 years ago that happened to me, and I was really the kid 30 years ago. I didn't quit, but I was very devastated, folks. I almost left the Legion over that. You know, and I had a couple old timers said, hey kid, come over here. Don't go nowhere. Come back here. We're going to work with you. You know, you got promise. You got a future. You know, and reminiscing, I said, well, you sure didn't show it to me in there. You voted for him. And they said, we did vote for you. We don't know who didn't, but we did. So stay here. So they mentored and grew me, moved me along, helped me out, and here's where I'm at today. So make sure you take care of people. You know, and all of us that join the American Legion family, whether it's the Legion, the Auxiliary, the Sons, you do it because you want to, right? It's a volunteer organization. You know, anybody turn your arm or anything? Well, who was it, your dad or grandpa? Yeah, okay. That's all right too. Or your husband if you're auxiliary. That's a mutual thing. But you did it because you wanted to. You wanted to be a part of the family. You know, and volunteers get beat up, right? Like I told you, set them tables running that way. Who turned them this way? Like the coffee. And you see that it looks like motor oil, it looks like water. Who burnt the eggs this morning? Can't they cook? Who's in the kitchen? You ever heard stuff like that? No. Yeah? Do you know what works for me whenever that stuff happens? All you got to do is tell them thank you. Wipes the slate clean. Thank you goes a long ways. I always say lead by example, not position. And don't ever have your people do something that you haven't done or wouldn't do. Don't ever do that. That is a terrible leader. So I ask you to look into others as you wish you were. Say thanks. It's a great honor and privilege to be your national commander. I'm having a great time. Yes, I am on the road, Mr. Mayor. I'm on the road 344 days. That leaves me 21 in a year of office. And I use 7 of those days right after Christmas. And I haven't been back to Alaska yet since I raised my hand. And I will not return there in 21 April and be there 3 days. It's a commitment. It's your life for a year. You have to be dedicated to the American Legion and the American Legion family. I truly am. It's an honor and privilege to represent you. I want to thank you for having me in Douglasville. You guys have a great evening.
Wasn't that great?
I turned it off.
Wasn't that great? Give him another big hand. I told you, he's one of the best.
Well, let me say what a pleasure it is to be home, which is Post 145. And Mr. Chairman and I are both members here. We're very proud. Mr. Commander, it's my pleasure. I know we've already talked earlier, but to officially welcome you to the city of Douglasville, we appreciate you being here. And we're honored to have you here. And it was a pleasure to share conversation with you during our meal. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thank you.
And, you know, when I hear your travel schedule, I don't have anything compared to that. Makes me feel good. But I'm here tonight on behalf of the about 32,000 people that live in the city of Douglasville. I'm here on behalf of them to say thank you for everything that you do. And what I would like to do is give you a small token of our appreciation. It's a key to the city of Douglasville, presented to Jimmy L. Foster, National Commander, the American Legion, Department of Alaska, Friday, January the 28th, 2011, by Mayor Mickey Thompson. Right. And I want to say that we appreciate your service, but we also appreciate what you do for veterans. And truly, you are a great representative of them, and it's my honor to meet you tonight.
Thank you. It's an honor. Thank you. You notice he didn't give me the key to the bank.
The only thing it'll do is get you out of jail.
I might need it.